All right, everybody. Last Schmolke investment team practice report for spring football 2025, and we got our usual 20 minutes with cameras up. We got an extended length of time to watch a little bit 11 on 11. I'm going to say that probably the players and the staff knew it was the last day, and maybe not a whole lot of sense of urgency, kind of going through the motions a little bit. But overall, the main part of spring that you look forward to, or the thing that you want to say at the end of all of it, is that there was no catastrophic injuries, and LSU did that, unless something crazy happened in the time that, after we left. But, Buddy, your thoughts?
Good morning, everybody. Final one. We enjoy giving you what we see and what we hear, the tidbits that we pick up. I'm going to give you a glass half full report today and talk about the potential that this LSU team has. And we start off by talking about the offense. Mike, you and I have stressed the fact that the offensive line has got to come together. They do have a lot of bodies. I think one of the things that Alex Atkins and Brad Davis are working on throughout from now until the start, pad level. You got to get under somebody. You block high and all of a sudden you're not pushing anybody. Special one-on-one attention the last couple of practices with Curious Kern and Solomon Thomas. Those are two true freshman guys that are over 330 that could be in the mix. Depends on how much shape, what they do in the offseason. We continue to reiterate that the guys have got to get in the weight room, bond, get stronger. This next period of 3 months is when obviously you're going to see who the leaders are on this team. But look, there's a lot of great potential out there. We have not hit on the wide receivers. They're going to throw it in space. They're going to throw it quick. You're going to see bubble. You're going to see jailbreak. You're going to see 12 personnel. You're going to see 14 and 10. And oh, by the way, today, one of the drills, a couple of reps, Bauer Sharp on the line of scrimmage blocking, and, of course, Trey'Dez Green. That's 12 personnel with two tight ends. Trey'Dez is still not a great blocker. Bauer Sharp, your favorite offensive player in the portal. I think not only is he going to catch some touchdown passes, he's going to give a much-needed lift on the edge blocking. You got to get to corners, and if you do, Caleb Jackson looks better this year. I'm seeing somebody who's a blur today. It was Harlan Berry. And, of course, Caden Durham was out there today but did not practice. There's no sense.
He was dressed out. He was dressed out, but it didn't basically just standing there. But
so, anyway, I give you some positive stuff to talk as we talk about, then we'll get into some of the others. But we're going to give you some stuff potentially what this team could look like, because they do have a lot of talent. Just got to put it together and gel by the time you get into August camp.
You had high school coaches on hand this morning, and of course the LSU football coaching staff is going to be on the road for the spring evaluation period. High schools are going to be having their spring football practices starting up here, and so spring games mid-month of May, and so a lot of football recruiting and evaluations are going to go out, because it's kind of crazy right now for the class of 2027 that there isn't a single commitment yet. You got to think that somebody's going to pop sooner or later, but been looking at some of the spring scrimmages that are out there, and boy, there's in charting everywhere I'm going to go. But you can see where that's starting to come together for this LSU coaching staff beyond with spring football ending today. So it never ends out here at the LSU football facility.
All right, look, still the same lineup at the offensive line. DJ Chester and Braylon Moore fighting it out at center. Of course, we know that, as we've talked about, Mike, Josh Thompson now, he's starting to get reps at the second team right tackle. Weston Davis is a starter over there. Cohen Eccles, we hadn't really mentioned him. He's been running with the ones all year. We don't know if the guy can play or not, but he's been there. Obviously, Mubinga is back, and Tyree Adams. Tyree Adams got a little bit of a butt chewing. Once again, back to that pad level. If you get too high, you're not going to move somebody. This is something that Brad Davis and Atkins will work on all summer long. Donovan Green is that third tight end. I know you wanted another tight end in the portal, but when you asked him about that, he said we may not have any movement. You and I, Mike and I both think that there will be 3 or 4 players that invariably get in the portal, and I'm getting my phone blowing up. A safety from Notre Dame getting in the portal, or Lacker's son. We don't know if there's interest there, but certainly I think they would take a safety in the portal, don't you?
Yeah, but he'd have to be a very, very good one. They know it would be a can't miss, and then, you know, how much is that going to cost you? You know, a lot of people speculate maybe if there's a really marquee defensive tackle, and if you could make that happen, would you go there? You know, BK, when I asked him that question on Tuesday, is not going to be forthcoming about that. I mean, they like to keep that transfer portal stuff. I think part of the, I'm not going to say, what is it, gamesmanship, but I think also part of the calculation of extending spring as long as they did and having several practices is that, so they're still practicing as the portal opens up. And so I think that's a good way to maybe hold on to some guys that are contemplating it and still have some of those, make sure you're really have done your one-on-ones with your current roster to make sure that you don't have any surprises.
Yeah, look, I think it's fair to say that Mike and I and everybody out there who've covered these practices with the media thinks that the defense is going to be appreciably better. But as we've been talking about, Mike, you hadn't had Whit Weeks, you hadn't had Harold Perkins, you hadn't had Jacoby and Gilry, you hadn't had Jordan Gilbert, and there's been others. Jack Pyburn was missing today. Don't think it's anything serious. But once again, this is going to be interesting. There are a lot of pieces that Blake Baker didn't have last year. You didn't have Harold Perkins last year. You didn't have Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks on the field at the same time. That could be brutal, blitzing those two guys at the same time. Got to step up at safety. I think corners right now, Stamps has had a good camp. Mansour Delane's had a good camp. Will DJ Pickett be ready to play more than special teams on the night of August 30th? He has got to get in that weight room. He's long, he's lean. You get him up to 195, the guy can have makeup speed and definitely a guy that could see some action. P.J. Woodland is a little bitty guy. He's still going to get some nickel action. And then, of course, looking at the linebackers, Wes Weeks, Devon Keys, Tylen Singleton, and C.J. Ross, all those guys doing a good job. But defense is going to be better, and we hadn't talked enough about the D tackles. I don't know how many they're going to alternate. You know, Bo liked to play a lot of D tackles, but with Jacoby and Gilry coming back, he's in the mix. Bro, McKinley, Sean Washington, obviously Zion Williams, and then Sadir Mitchell. Interesting to see how many snaps they can get with him. I do think LSU will be appreciably deeper on the defensive front. The question is, Mike, are they going to be able to get off the field on third down, and can they hold that team to field goals when the opponents get inside the red zone?
I'm absolutely buying Blake Baker's defense. Y'all do me a favor. If you're enjoying this practice report, hit that like button, and as the semis all go behind us here on Nicholson Drive, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Time is running out with market fluctuations and economic uncertainty. Now is the moment to act. Don't let another day pass you without a solid financial plan in place. At the Schmolke Investment Team, their experienced financial advisors are there to help you navigate these challenging times. From retirement planning to investment strategies, they provide personalized strategies tailored to your needs. Don't wait until it's too late. Give them a call at 318-448-3201 or visit www.schmolketeam.com or stop by their office at 128 Versailles Boulevard in Alexandria. Your financial future depends on decisions that you make now. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA/SIPC. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. And look, especially you guys that are in the younger demo, start giving $50, $100 a month, holding out of your paycheck. Do that on top of if you've got a 401k at your office. The money will pile up. That's why you need guys like Bart and Brian Schmolke. I was talking to Bart about it yesterday. You know, you have that automatic draft come out of your checking account and putting away a little bit at a time. I'm telling you, you'll be thankful later in life. You're not even going to recognize that it's gone. Or if you're playing catch up, if you're on the older end and you didn't save enough, that's why you need the Schmolke Investment Team to get you up to speed. And absolutely great folks, big LSU fans, LSU alums, both of them, Bart and Brian Schmolke. Give them a chance to earn your business.
Yeah, look, back to some of that positive and what we're trying to present to you just from the wide receiver core, Mike. Everybody knows about Xavion Thomas and Aaron Anderson and Chris Hilton, and I know you think Chris Hilton has had a really good camp, and he really has the whole spring. But Barry Brown is a speedster. They're going to get him in space. He's going to be involved in the return game. I love number 4. I love Anderson, the big kid from Oklahoma. Another big receiver, 6'4", 215. He wasn't there. Kyle Parker is back. They've got a freshman and wide receiver, Teron Francis, they called Manchild. He's going to be in the mix. And so now you add 2 tight ends, Bauer Sharp and Donovan Green. You add Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson. And then, of course, the incoming recruits. What we're trying to tell you is there's a lot of new guys, and they're still trying to feel their way, doing what they've got to do to get those reps. And as we know, special teams is going to be interesting. It's not something that we often mention, but they've got to get a snapper in here. I think Silas Hall is the walk-on coming in from Episcopal, but you get Jonathan Ferguson hurt. He's the only snapper out there right now. Probably Peyton Tye going to be the holder, and Grant Chadwick the.
I assure you, they've got a plan.
Yeah.
We just don't know it right now.
Right, but I was just going to say, don't be shocked if they try a 50-yard field goal before half or at the end of the game, and it'd be Aaron Burrell instead of Damian Ramos.
Man, some of his kicks that we've seen. In fact, some of you have seen it on our film. Also, check this channel. The last 4K practice footage will be up here today from this last day of spring football. But man, Buddy, it's amazing. I mean, this is the last one. I know someone said the other day, well, this is the last time we'll get you until, I guess, SEC football media days. Of course, you have the coaches meetings and all that kind of stuff. But you know, there's one thing that we don't see that happens much longer. We don't see the TAF tour stops and coaches that you can catch in Shreveport or Lafayette or Mandeville or New Orleans. Those things don't seem to happen anymore. So I think we're going to get BK at some point before SEC football media days, but we got the release 2 days ago. Again, he's going to go on a Monday in July. It's going to be here before you know it. And camp season is going to be here. June's going to be always busy with football camps. But a lot will be happening quicker than you think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And look, we've got plenty of time to regurgitate. Everybody knows the importance of that first game. Kind of an overview of spring that I'll give you as we give you some Manda Spicy tidbits to wrap up. I think they're going to throw the football very quickly. If you go back and put the tape in, folks, put the tape in on the USC game last year. Nuss opened up, and everything they were doing was quick. I think Karen Lacey, remember, had 6 or 7 catches in the first half. Got to get rid of it quickly. He's going to be under duress. He's going to probably run a little bit more. But Juwan Johnson, I got to give him a shout out. He threw the football well today.
I thought so too.
I saw him throwing some spirals today. He wasn't throwing any Russell Shepard ducks today. He looked good. Of course, now that Hurley is back, we'll see what he can get back. But from an offensive standpoint, want to see them dink and dunk. They're going to throw it out in space. They're going to throw it quick. They're going to also have misdirection. And so from an offensive standpoint, you've heard us say it before, you go from the 20 to 20s, but once you get inside the red zone, inside the 10 and the 5, that's when you have to have great play calling. We'll see if an extra year of Joe Sloan and BK working on the sidelines together will bring better results. And obviously on the defensive end, I really think when he gets everybody back, they're going to pin their ears back and go after people. So I'm still going to predict 40 sacks. They had 34 last year. They gave up 15 as an offensive unit. But look, a lot of potential, a lot of work in progress. And don't forget with your Easter holiday, you're looking for those Manda products, the ham, the sausage, the boudin. We appreciate you doing business with them. Locally owned and operated. As always, Manda Fine Meats for flavor and spice. And Mike Scarborough. And yours truly really do say it all.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in all throughout the spring. Thanks to the Schmolke investment team for sponsoring these. And again, I'm going to leave you with a prediction. LSU sweeps Alabama in baseball this weekend.
I'm going 2 out of 3. Meatloaf will be queued up. I'll take 2 out of 3 this weekend and next weekend against Tennessee.
All right.
Have a great Easter, everybody.
All right. Happy Easter.